Meditate on what you really want in life, how you really want to do things. Don't think it has to be this massive business. It may not even be a business. It could just be a hobby. It could be something that you love doing. When you show people how it makes you feel, they pick up that energy, and that energy goes back and forth from one person to another.
Yes, y'all, energy. That's exactly how I feel about my channel and the content that I create on YouTube. I'm sure that you've heard it over and over again. What's your passion? Follow your passion. Pursue your passion and the money will follow. But I heard something so profound a few weeks ago by the motivational guru and author Mel Robbins, which is what inspired me to create this video. Mel Robbins says, don't follow your passion. Instead, find out what energizes you, because passion is energy. So check out the video in the description section below, because you might just find out what energizes you now and or after retirement. So now let's get into this video.
So I have with me today Miss Debra Summerville.
Hello.
Baltimore, Maryland, and she is by way of
Washington, D.C.
So she is all about the East Coast, right? So excited to see her beautiful face. Y'all, look at her haircut. Show them your haircut, Deborah. Look at that haircut, y'all. Deborah and I met each other virtually a couple weeks ago. She reached out to me for a consultation. The subject of her email was, I'm blown away. So I love, and not that I get all positive reviews, so I don't let them go to my head, but they confirm that I'm on the right path, doing what I'm doing and building this beautiful and amazing platform of women who go great with style.
You are.
So she reached out, thank you, Deborah. During the consultation, she mentioned to me some things that she had been doing after retirement. And it was so exciting to me because even though I'm not retired from doing hair, you know, I am on a passion, purpose track and lifestyle as well. And she's going to tell us just a little bit about her gray hair journey.
My gray hair transition started, like a lot of us, during the pandemic. Of course, I couldn't go back and forth to the hair salon. And I started letting my color grow out, which it was going to do naturally anyway. And I discovered that I liked the look of the way the gray hair was coming in. It wasn't coming in patches. It was coming in as salt and pepper. And I thought, let me see what's going to happen with this. So before we could get back out and go to the hair salons and start doing our beauty care and all of that, my hair grew out with the gray and it wasn't the right shape. Went back to the salon and let her talk me into dyeing it blonde again. And I found out very quickly with the chemicals in my hair that my scalp started getting irritated. And I thought, no, my scalp has been healthy. It's been fine without chemicals in it. I'm just going to let it go natural. So that's what I did. And I tell you, I have been so pleased with my gray hair because it's natural. I stopped perming my hair, stopped coloring my hair, and I always try to find cute styles to wear, because whether you're getting older or not, you shouldn't choose to look older. You should stay with your cuteness, your little hairstyles, your earrings, your jewelry and all of that. It just gives that gray hair that extra pizzazz. So that's where I am with my journey, and it's continuing. What I'm looking forward to is more gray and less black.
We can just wrap up this video right here. I think Deborah just knocked it out of the park. She gave you a few things that I always love to talk about. I love to talk about, don't let anybody convince you that you should not go gray, or don't let anybody convince you to go gray, because ultimately it has to be our own decision. And I love, even though you went, back to the blonde, you quickly determined that this is not for me. It's not healthy for my scalp, all these chemicals. And I just think that also another great thing that you said is that keep yourself looking hotter. Continue. Don't stop with the earrings if you wear earrings, or the glasses and the jewelry, and just keep you with that one style that you like. Not that you can't change your hair, but I am I do a lot to change my look, but I'm not changing my hair that much. It might grow a little bit, but it's just so much easy for me to just keep that look, that cut, and I feel, bolder with the look that I have.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you. Those are some great tips right up front. You want to show them your Go Gravy Chic gear?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, Go Gravy Chic.
So excited to get them.
Let me see. So which ones did you get?
I got the white one and the black one, Go Gravy Chic.
That looks freaking amazing.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
You have is it the tank top?
Or is it the t-shirt?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You can do so much with that t-shirt.
Yes.
It's not like a cartoonish kind of logo. It's
not
what
at
you
all.
really like about it. And you can just style it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Dress it up, you can dress it down. I'll put that over a dress in a minute, throw a blazer on, some jewelry, some heels.
I saw you.
I know that Deborah has, she's worked and she's retired. Tell us a little bit about what you did for a living, Deborah.
I spent close to 32 years as a human resources professional. I started out with a big name company, corporate company, General Electric, and we merged multiple times. And it ended up the latter years as Lockheed Martin, which most people are familiar with. And I started out as a receptionist in the human resources department. And through the years, I always asked to let me help you with this, let me learn that. And unlike what young people have to go through today, I never went to college and got a degree. I had a high school graduation degree, but they were willing to teach me things. So I went from receptionist until I retired as a human resources manager. And through the years, the first part of the years, I absolutely loved it because human resources used to be about helping people. And it changed to helping the bottom line, make sure you make money for the corporation. That's when I started getting a sour taste in my mouth, but I had to keep my career going in order to survive. So off and on throughout the years, I picked up a I don't want to say side hustle. It actually was a hobby of mine. My friends and my family always looked at my houses and stuff like that and wanted me to help them do things. So to kind of give me a buffer of my dislike for what I was doing for my regular career, I always took joy and pleasure in helping people with their houses. And then I finally retired at the age of 62, 4 years ago, and now I am on to something new.
So, Deborah, that sounds like an exciting career path. A lot of people are not going to college nowadays. These younger people are starting right in on, entrepreneurship. Right out of school, they have their passions, they get into their passions. And we've had a tendency to work 20, 30 years, giving all our time to other corporations and businesses. I mean, the career may have been a great path, but you still haven't been doing what you really, really wanted to do.
Right.
Because you have always had, and because I love to help people as well. Mm-hmm. And so because you've always been in that mode of wanting to help people and bringing out the best in what others are doing, it's funny how those particular passions and those things that are already inside you, how they expose themselves into whatever you're doing. Like with me, like I said, even though I'm not retired, I'm doing something that I really, really love. And I've been doing something kind of that I really love all my life, which is doing hair. My grandmother was a hairstylist, and I used to watch her for years doing hair when I was little. She passed away at I was young. She was young also. She was like my age right now, 53.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like about 12 when she passed away. When you retired, did you jump right into your passion? Did you jump right into that? Or did you just kind of take it one step at a time and just that pathway led you to becoming what you're doing today? And you can actually just let the listeners know exactly what you're doing and what that passion project is of yours that you're doing today.
After retirement, I went full-time as an interior decorator. That has been a passion for me since I was a child. Like so many of us, we actually start doing things when we're very young that we enjoy doing that could turn into what later becomes, as an adult, your passion. I always decorated our bedrooms. It's three sisters, and we shared one room, all three of us in one room. I was the one that always wanted to keep the room neat. I moved furniture around, did this, did that. And then as an adult, my friends and family always admired my houses and how I put it together and start asking me for help. And then it just evolved into a business. So I had been doing interior decorating for probably 30 plus years now while I was working full time. That passion has led me to discover a lot of things about myself that I didn't pay attention to as a younger adult, that I truly like working with people. I like working one-on-one with people. I like helping people find themselves through design. And that statement means to me, your home should reflect who you are. So now I average probably about 5 or 6 major projects per year. I like to keep it that way. I don't want to be extremely busy because I also have 3 grandchildren, so I don't want to work so much that I can't spend time with them. But this truly is my passion. All things creative is what I like to do.
So while you were talking, I was visualizing like some of the projects that you're working on. And I want to give this quote: "Passion is not what you do, it's how you do it," by Mel Robbins.
Yes.
And I sent a video to Deborah with Mel Robbins speaking about passion, because I was doing some research on finding your passion, because everybody talks about, how do you find your passion and what is your passion and how do you move with, creating your passion into a business. So we're going to watch this. Instead of finding your passion is not what you do, but how you do it. I was just visualizing some of the projects that you're working on. So when you say bigger projects, are you doing more like larger homes, or are you doing more like corporations? And this explains a little bit about your creativity and how your mind works when you're thinking about what projects you have for certain people. How do you get into their style, and how do you incorporate a little bit of your creativity and a little bit of their creativity and making them satisfied with your interior design?
You have no idea how excited I am that you brought that up, because when I think about passion, of course that passion is there, but passion plus gift creates almost like an explosion on the inside. For me, I started out small, and I started with a room here and a room there. But it has evolved over the years to more recently, it's whole houses. And when I get clients who do whole houses, they start me out from the ground up. So I actually go to the site with my clients. Before they break ground, they show me the floor plan, they show me everything. They now want me to pick out the flooring, the tile, everything from the start. And it is just so exciting to do.
That's juicy. That's juicy right there.
It is.
I didn't visualize that far. I'm thinking about the structure that's already there, but like to create I mean, you're right there with them creating the structure. And Mel Robbins mentioned, she said, passion is energy. So just the energy of the breaking the ground, and I mean, that has to be amazing.
It is, and it never gets old. I feel the same way each time. I have such a healthy respect for people and their needs, their wants, and what they're trying to do. I make sure that I pay complete attention to their desires. And that evolves into what design I'm going to use for this client. I don't give them ideas on what I think they should do. I find out who they are and what they really love. And of course, guide them. You know, I'm not going to let a client go off the deep end and put purple floors in their house or anything like that, but just making sure that I guide them as we go along. And I love to have the client participate in the process, but I don't overburden them with that, because people are busy. They have jobs, they have families. That's what they hire you for.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. That's what they hire you for.
Yes, exactly. So it has evolved, like I said, into much bigger projects. And it's not just clients that I have met from online or anything like that. All of my business has been word of mouth.
Okay.
One person tells another, tells another, tells another. I've never really advertised or anything. It's just based on what people saw.
I hope by now you're kind of figuring out what energizes you and getting some inspiration from Deborah's journey. So these are some questions that you might want to ask yourself on the journey to find out exactly what might energize you.
Because I can relate that to doing hair, which is a passion of mine for years. Like, you want to take a little bit of the client's, like the consultation we had, you want to take a little bit of the client's interest and creativity and kind of what they want to look like. So you see it as to what they want the home to look like, but they don't know exactly what type of creativity to put in it. For me, it's with the cutting, with the color, and because sometimes you have to let people know that maybe we should do this or maybe we should do that. But just not giving that person, like, even though you have pretty much full reign, it's still like you want to step back a little bit when you have a passion project that you're working on, and just enveloping your unique talent along with their little bit of sprinkle of what they kind of want, and then just bring it all together. Like, you know, like people say, you know, what am I paying you for if I have to give you everything that I'm looking for? So that's really, really good. So how long does it take you to actually work on that particular project?
It depends on the project. Okay. When someone's building a house, of course, it takes as long as the house is being built. But it depends on the project. I've had projects that last maybe 3 weeks because they wanted something small. Then I've had projects to last 6 months to a year because they're having, you know, a huge house built and they want furnishings and they want paint colors and all of that. So it just depends on the project.
After you retire, some people think you're just supposed to go home, sit down.
Right.
And, you know, not develop your passion. And especially with what we had going on a few years ago, it's like, okay, we're at home, and how are we going to keep our minds youthful? How are we going to keep our mindset, you know, explosive to that will, you know, give us that creativity and make us get out of our comfort zone. So how do you do that? How do you get out of your comfort zone?
Well, it's two things. One thing that I do is I accept any challenge whatsoever. And I might even think to myself, oh my gosh, this is a lot. Can I do this? And then I say, yes, you can do this. You can do anything you want to do. Just put your mind to it. So anyone that calls me about a project, whether I feel comfortable with it, whether I've never done it before, I accept the challenge. And it always works. It has worked so far, and I'm sure it will continue to work. The second thing that I do is I make sure that I stay knowledgeable on new trends, new things that people can try, and whether they have suggested it or not, I have some clients that I know are comfortable enough that I can recommend, let's try this black and white wallpaper on one of your walls. And they'll look at me and say, really? You think so? And I'll say, yes, let's try that. And it just turns out to be beautiful. I try to trust my instincts, and my instincts don't always feel comfortable, but I go with it anyway.
That's really good, because I'm thinking it's almost like your instinct is your intuition.
Yes.
No, because with me building this platform, I started off at 100. Well, the first milestone I reached was 100 subscribers. I was so excited. I felt like I had 100,000 subscribers, and it took me about a year, almost 2 years. I started in 19, so almost 3 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. I got to last April. And now this April, I got to 1,000, and now I'm almost at 2,500. So from April to September. So it's just like, just continue on that path. Like, you see different little signs that the universe, God, whatever you believe in, will just send you those little signs and take you on those little pathways. Like, I started talking to hairstylists about doing hair and marketing and business. And then I recorded one video about other people's journeys and interviewing 2 women. And because I didn't like to be in front of the camera, just alone by myself. So my thing was interviews. So I said, oh, okay, so that's how I can still get out of my comfort zone and interview people. So that way all the focus is not on me, because I'm an introvert, right? And so that took me to interviewing people. And I did that one interview. And then I was looking at the algorithms and looking at my analytics, and I noticed the age of women that were following me, mostly 45 and up. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me just tweak this. And so last June, that's when I just completely just decided to just go for talking to women over 50 or maybe right under 50 and up about their gray hair, about midlife, and all of that. So it's just like you said, you got to follow your intuition, follow your instincts about what to do next. When you're thinking about, when you're not focusing on a job and sitting around, how do you get out of your head and into your heart so that you know what next step to take and what next, they always say, don't just take a step. What next inspired step should you take?
No, I can sit here and act like I have it all together and all that, but no, I don't. So what I do and what I have been doing is listening to my clients, listening to my family, and listening to myself on what I know I can do. The value that I contribute to people's lives, the reaction that I get from clients once their project is done. So I try to pay attention to those things and reminisce on those things when I'm just sitting around and I don't have a project. I also spend a lot of time looking at decorating shows and going to places like model homes and, trying to seek creativity all around me on a regular basis. So it's still somewhat of a struggle. I'm sure I could be further along in my business than I am, but I think I'm still on that path and that journey. Just meeting you, Sharon, is a part of that. You just mentioned that you didn't always feel comfortable being in front of the camera. You have no idea how far out of my comfort zone I am right now. So far that it's amazing. So this feels like another step in the direction that I need to take to build upon what I have within me and what I can offer people.
Yeah, because I could actually see you doing some videos.
You can.
About, even if they're small, short videos on, the process of, like, that would be amazing. And I think that, like, when we're thinking about getting out of our comfort zone and getting into our energy passion projects after retirement or after 50, it's just like, what next? Because we never know when this day is going to end. We never know when this life is going to end. I have to continue to push myself because there's a lot of stuff that, I'm a work in progress. I am a work in progress. I think we all are. I think as long as we're here, we're a work in progress. So, right. And I feel like we're never too old to just do what we need to do, or just do what we want to do. Yeah, it's so many, because I know you mentioned to me that you have been loving this kind of stuff since you were a little girl.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, both of my parents, we came from very small means, but both of my parents were very stylish people. Mm-hmm. And even though we lived in an environment that, wasn't that desirable, we lived in apartments all the time. When we would come back in the house, it felt like we came into some place that wasn't part of our environment. And wow. they loved making sure that the environment looked nice and that things were taken care of. And I think that just resonated with me, and so did drawing and sewing and painting and all of that. So it's this whole creative thing within me that I'm allowing to really flourish as much as it can, because when you get to my age, you start realizing if you haven't done it now, or you haven't done it in the past, you better do it now. Yeah. Don't waste the talents and the gifts that God has given you.
Because I feel like we all have some type of passion project,
yes.
inside, within, from a little, it's something that we all love to do as a little girl.
Yes.
And I feel like, I love to jump rope, and I feel like I'm still doing the same things that I love to. I jump double dutch. I still do hair. I love to teach, and that's from my mom, because she was a teacher for like 30 something years. So I used to do writing, on chalkboards, and I used to be in my room with just clothes everywhere, acting like I was working in a fashion store with the cash register. So it's just like everything that I love to do, it's still coming out now,
Yeah.
And I read this book. It's called The Wisdom of Menopause. It's a woman. She's a doctor. She wrote this book, and I don't read from cover to cover. I just kind of read some of the pieces when I'm thinking about different stuff and what my body is going to. And she talks about that, like a lot of things, like when you go through menopause, which I haven't yet, but a lot of things that you did as a kid, it shows back up.
Yes.
In life, and it could be something positive or not so positive. Issues that you might have had as a little girl, and in your younger years, it comes back up. And I thought that was really profound. And it kind of explains a lot to me while I'm going through some of the things that I'm going through in my life now.
Right. I think that whole concept of the menopause, it takes you to where you're supposed to be, where you were supposed to be probably for a while, but didn't realize it. Mm-hmm. And for some people, they pay attention to that. Some people don't. So you can have a negative or positive effect from it. Mm-hmm. But I know it opened my eyes to a lot of things about myself. It opened my eyes to the fact that you have to appreciate yourself. If you don't appreciate yourself, then you can't offer that vision and that assistance, and that you can't pour into other people's lives. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the big things that I got from menopause.
That's so true. And you know what is huge? I always feel like going gray exposes you too.
It does.
It's not just about the gray hair. It's about releasing something within. Because and then if you think about it, it's making you be more natural. Your natural self. Like, who are you? Like, when we constantly, because I was constantly coloring my hair every 2 to 3 weeks. And it's just like, why do you keep covering this up? So it's almost like spiritual. It's like, what are you really covering up? Are you trying to cover up who you're really supposed to be? What you're really supposed to look like?
That's
So
right. Yes.
it's really deep. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about gray hair, but I've never heard anybody really get down to the more spiritual aspect, of
Mhm.
why we won't stop coloring our hair, and it
Right.
took me a long time. Like, I was 51 when I stopped coloring my hair. And I love wearing color, but then I think I love me so much more now without the color than I did back then.
I feel the same way, the same exact way. I feel more natural. I feel like who I am, who I was supposed to be, instead of putting on this false persona. Now, don't get me wrong. I love color, still love color.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to stop and think, and this is not for everybody. You have to stop and think, what is the purpose of that?
Mm-hmm.
What are your intentions on doing it? And when I was younger, it was just for fun. But then after a while, I think I start masking.
Yeah. And it was work.
It's a lot of work.
Right.
It is a lot of work. Yeah. So, that's something that we have to come to grips with as we get older, that you are who you're supposed to be.
Right. Exactly. And I think 2020 taught us all a lesson on,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
exposing so much. Like,
Yes.
people who couldn't get color and didn't want to color their hair themselves. A lot of celebrities came out, and I think the gray hair scene just exploded during 2020. It's just like, if you look back at 2020, yeah, a lot of negative things happened, but a lot of positive things happened too, because
It did.
it exposed so many people. It exposed the people who, had to be around people all the time to feel fulfilled.
Right.
It exposed the people who, like me, I love being at home during 2020. Those 12 weeks I was off at work, it
Right.
built my creativity, and it allowed me to figure out what I wanted to do with this platform. So
Yes.
it exposed a lot of people. It's almost the question that Mel Robbins said that you should ask yourself. What is one thing that you do that you're never bored of? And it sounds like interior design is for you. You mentioned a few moments back that you watch shows,
Yes.
TV.
Go to model homes.
Yeah, go to model homes. If someone is listening and they thought about their retirement and they're coming up on their retirement, say like 3 years, 5 years, or even women not even retired yet, but have that passion project, they have it in their minds, how would you suggest they start?
Well, it started before retirement. One thing about my story is this isn't really new to retirement. This got expanded during retirement. What I did, and I suggest anybody does, is start with friends and family and see what reaction you get from that. And you may already be doing that. So many times we do things, say someone who sews, you may have been getting compliments always from everything you do. And people might say, oh, girl, you ought to start a business, or you are so good at this, or every time I ask you to do something, you're doing exactly what I want you to do. Pay attention to that, because your passion is not something that just pops out all of a sudden. Your passion is something deep within, and you can feel that passion. As you mentioned earlier, Sharon, talking about Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins talked about that feeling that you get with that passion. And we all feel that. We can all feel it. So make sure it's something that makes you feel good. Try first with friends and family. If you have already done that and you're getting lots of positive feedback, put yourself out there. I started out with a small little flyer that explained what my business was, what my fees were, exactly what I do, and went from there. And it just evolved over time. I didn't even have business cards in the beginning. Once I started, I did not stop, because it was infectious to me. It was absolutely infectious. So if that's you, even if you're say you don't have anybody to decorate for, do your own home. Or if your passion is sewing, wear your own clothes, portray your product so that other people can see what you do and that the conversations will come up. Start in a natural progression. Don't start out right away just trying to get a business plan and finances and all of that and just jump right into it. Start with you and see how you feel and how other people react.
Wow, that was really good, because I was over here looking at my notes and just thinking about that Mel Robbins video that we listened to. It's just like how, instead of like trying to find your passion, she mentioned how you can bring more energy into your life right now.
Yes.
So when you think about something that is your passion, that you're excited about, you're going to read books about it, you're going to watch videos about it, you're going to get up and go to view the model homes. I'm going to get up and I'm going to listen to more videos about how to make videos. I'm going to go to a video conference like I did this past May, I think it was called Grow with Video Live, and just learning and bringing so much more energy to what you're already doing.
Right.
So, and then you start getting those downloads, you start getting that next step, that next inspired action to take, because it's just like, that was so profound what you just said. Don't start, start natural. Don't start with the business plan. Don't start with how much money you're going to earn. And like I did this platform, I didn't start out with a business plan. I had no idea 2 years later I'll be talking about gray hair, because I was still coloring. Actually, it's been 3 years. I was still coloring my hair. And I hated the gray hair and I hated videos.
And look at you now.
I mean, you just don't know. Like, we start off talking about what we want to do.
Right.
But we never really know what God, the universe, what it has for us.
Right.
So where we're going to end up in life, we just don't know. And we just have to follow those steps and listen to that intuition.
That's right.
Follow that energy and just really go from there. So, Deborah, how do you actually stay motivated in what you do? I know you mentioned going out to, different homes and watching videos or shows, but how do you just keep yourself motivated on a daily basis? What are some of the things that you do to stay motivated? And not just in your energy project, but just your life period.
The way I stay motivated, actually, and this is going to sound kind of strange, but I don't have to push it. It naturally happens. When I'm watching, for example, if I'm watching a movie, I'm not only looking at the characters, but I'm looking at all of the background in that room, looking at how they decorated it. And I found myself from time to time watching movies with my partner or other people saying, "You see that lamp?" And they'll go, "No, I didn't see that lamp." But I'm a very visual person, so I'm constantly looking in interior design and exterior. I'm looking at colors, I'm looking outside to see what the flowers are doing, what the grass is doing, just everything that visually is pleasing, I take in with purpose. I take it in with purpose. But also my motivation, another motivation, which is really big for me, my adult daughter. She has always been my cheerleader. And my adult daughter reminds me from time to time what I have within myself. It's amazing how we give birth to children and we think we're just teaching them.
Right.
But she has so much wisdom and she teaches me so much. Not too far in the past, she asked me to do a human resource project on her job, do a video. And I said, good and well, I am not comfortable doing that. She said, yes. She said, but you have so much to offer people. How to maneuver yourself as a Black female in the corporate world. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not. And she said, Mom, you have everything in you to do this. So because it was her, I did it. And it was great. It turned out so wonderful. So I get a lot of motivation from her. I get a lot of motivation from my family. And I also try to make sure I stay motivated for myself. I tend to suffer from anxiety and depression. So I know to keep myself up, I have to participate in positive things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to make sure I don't go down that rabbit hole of living a negative life. So that is very important to me to stay motivated. I do whatever I have to do. I have 8 girlfriends. We all started together in church, and since then have moved on to various places. But the 8 of us have gone through marriage, birth, death, divorce, marriage, you name it. We've gone through it with each other. We motivate each other. And I have to say during this video, even though this is not the subject, find yourself a group of people who can motivate you, people who really love you, and people who care.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be set for life.
That is so true. That's amazing, because I've suffered from anxiety since I was a little girl. So I understand.
Yeah.
And I believe that as I got older, dealing with life, it heightened. And so I had to, I always say, my meditation is my medication.
Yes.
I don't take, anxiety meds or anything like that. I hermit a lot. So, me getting into that space, and then, sometimes like you have energies that are just like, their personalities are just over the top. I'm just like, no. I have to be ready to have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
I have to be ready to FaceTime that person, because if not, it's just like, I can't talk to you for so long.
Yes.
So, yeah, and I think that what you said about, that's very huge that you have that many women, because most women don't have that many women that, can motivate them. You have your pockets. This is
right.
Who over here might motivate you. This over here, every time you call, she has something negative she wants to talk about.
Yep.
So you got to know, even if you don't have all those 8 women, if you have your little pockets, that one person
that works too.
Exactly, that will motivate you.
Yes.
Really, really awesome. Because it's right, nowadays, people need community. And that's one reason why I'm growing, this community. So Deborah, as we wrap up, give the listening audience some food for thought. As you continue on your journey down your gray hair journey, and also because, at our ages, like some people are going gray in their 30s and their 40s, and some people are living their passion projects at that age. But as we age, and it's never too late to do what you're doing, to do what I'm doing, and we just have to have just that little mustard seed of confidence.
That's right.
To stop coloring your hair or becoming the interior designer that you always wanted to be. So on your journey, for the rest of this life, give the listening audience some advice and what you plan to do to continue to put your passion project out to the world, either online or, well, right now it's totally offline, but I'm sure you're going to develop an online presence, in the near future, because you just look so eloquently. Like, people need to see you online as well, and you just never know. You could probably do a virtual consultation at someone's home. So what can you offer the listening audience in that respect?
What I can offer people in that aspect is to first look at what really brings you joy. And don't start with what brings you joy now. What brought you joy as a child? Because so many times that passion is already in us, but it didn't get nurtured. It wasn't recognized. People didn't really push you or motivate you to move in that direction. So go back there first. If there isn't anything there, look at what brings you joy now. And Don't always think that it has to be something big, even if it's coloring in coloring books. And yes, seniors can color in coloring books as well. Make sure that you pay attention to what brings you joy, what really makes you happy, as well as what doesn't bring you joy, what makes you feel negative, what brings you down. Work to get rid of those things in your life. That's a big one. Make sure that you pay attention to, okay, I'm not feeling good today. What is it that I've done? What do I need to do? And how can I move away from that particular thing that's making me feel this way? So once you get that in your mind, and Sharon, you use the word, which I love, download. Once you download that in your mind, you want to pay attention to how often you do it. If you find that thing that brings you a lot of joy, do it as much as you want. Do it often. Look at what other people are doing. Now we are so blessed with the internet. We could look at YouTube, we can look at Instagram, we could look at so many different venues to find something that motivates us in what we like to do. Don't be afraid to emulate what you see. Try it. If it works for you, do it. Also talk to people who are actually doing what you love doing and see if they'll share information. I've been blessed to be able to run into people who were already in the decorating world and gave me advice. Some do, some don't. And for those who are willing to talk to you and give you advice on things, take that information and use it for yourself. Meditate on what you really want in life and how you really want to do things. Don't think it has to be this massive business. It may not even be a business. It could just be a hobby. It could be something that you love doing. Share it with others. Show them what you're doing and make sure that you resonate how it makes you feel. When you show people how it makes you feel, they pick up that energy, and that energy goes back and forth from one person to another. When I'm working with clients, I'm just as excited as the client is. Always stay excited with what you're doing. Show that excitement. I mean, I think sometimes I'm acting like a child when I'm in a project, but I don't care. That's okay, because this is something that I appreciate that I have and that I really love doing. Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to yourself. We can feel the positive energy and we can feel the negative energy. Trust yourself when you go through that, and you will find your way.
That's awesome. You just dropped the mic. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on the Salon Chat today. This was an awesome experience with you, Deborah, just to get to know you even more, even though we had our chat before, just to get to know you even more. And I have to have you come back. We have to have another topic. And
I would love to.
Yeah, I would love to see some of those designs. That's an awesome, I never would have thought that you were helping someone from the ground up. I didn't go that big. But I'm glad that you had big enough, a bigger vision for what you're doing right now, from the ground up. I see why you only do a few projects a year, and it's so important to spend time with your family.
Yes.
I wanted to say thank you for joining me, and thank you it's an honor to have you on the Salon Chat and to share your story about how you reinvented and how you started your passion project after retirement.
And Sharon, I really want to thank you for this opportunity. Like I said, I am so far out of my comfort zone right now, but you made it feel so comfortable, because what I see in you, you're being natural, you're being yourself. And that comes through over the screen.
Thank you so much.
When I looked at your first video, I said, there's something about her. And now I see why.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome. So we will talk soon.
Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Until the next time, take care, peace, and go gray, be chic.